Next up, we got Euro Pound here. So it seems to be struggling to make new lows. It's been struggling with the zone for a long time. I knew I was going to give it trouble, but I can't believe it's touched this many times. I thought it would have broken it by now, but we'll see. As the euro and the pound is very similar, like obviously in currencies, but as far as this pair, I mean, it doesn't move a whole lot. So it's both currencies are just very similar, very tight. So we'll see which one gets stronger out of the two. I think the euro and the pound are both going to weaken. So as far as a crossover pair like euro pound, it's hard to determine kind of which one will get weaker, which one will get stronger. But looking at this, we'll just clean up some of these areas here. As far as the month goes, let's see, it's moved 146 pips, and it usually does about 230, so it still has some room in the month, technically, which would most likely mean it's going to go down. We'll move these out for now. So as far as like price, you can see this was a huge area of resistance, and now finally price broke into it. This candle actually closed fully through this entire zone, then it broke below, and now it's rejecting this zone again. So I do think that this is now your main area that price has to break. Well, I don't know what this line was then. Okay, we'll delete this. Perfect. So our monthly low, I think, is still 84.20. We're very close. I'm not sure what the high was. I can look at it later, but the goal is to break this zone now. So here, we'll move this down. And this is kind of what our setup is. This is our main zone. Like if we can break this zone, it'll go quite a bit lower. It'll probably go right to 84.20, maybe 8400 even, or 8400 even. Because our next big zone is down here, right below 84. So basically, if it breaks this area, you're good for another 100 pips right down. So you can see price came into this zone heavily today, is rejecting pretty hard already. If we dump it down time frames, way below this 4-hour moving average. Very good bearish structure, you know, lower lows, lower highs, all the way down. So that's huge. I do think price is going to break out of this zone downwards. And then as far as like a trade entry, I mean, it would have to be worth the risk to reward. It would have to add up, obviously. As of right now, you still have higher highs, higher lows on the 1-hour time frame, but it is below the moving average. So I'd say there's still some overall it's pretty bearish momentum in the market, even on the lower time frames. But you need price to break out of this zone, and you need it to start creating lower lows and lower highs. So something like this, potentially, if this is the most recent high, if price doesn't go above this high, let's say it starts going like this, then it might be good for a short entry. But oops, I don't really know if the risk to reward is worth it on this, especially because it's the end of the month now. I mean, there's only, I guess there's still 9 days, but only roughly, I think. Let's see, we got 5 trading days this week. Oh, can we clear all these? We got 5 trading days here, and then 4 next week. So, okay, yeah, that's fair. It's still enough, I guess. So yeah, looking to break this area. So I would try to, I'm going to tidy this up a bit. And you can actually, what's cool is this was your, actually, technically your area of support was already broken with this. So we have to look at a new area, which would only be these wicks here, technically, from a daily standpoint. So that actually makes me hopeful. So if price can break this zone, then you're probably good to go. And before it breaks that zone, you're probably good to go. Like I said, if price starts making lower lows, lower highs, and it changes structure here out of this zone, because this zone was holding it, and then so if it breaks out of this zone, kind of means that it wants to go lower, and it's ready to go lower now. But if you really wanted a conservative type trade here, you want to be really sure, which I would be, because I mean, why take a bad trade when you can take a better trade? Something like this. Wait for this zone to break. Here, I'll do it on this time frame better so you can see better. So let price come into this time zone. We'll actually put this at the bottom of the time zone, or sorry, at the liquidity zone here. So if price breaks this area, something like this, then you're looking for a pullback, and then there's your entry. So, because I think like as soon as price, it's been taking its sweet time with this bottom area, but it has been breaking lower, and you can see there's a lot of bearish momentum, you know, coming from here all the way down, straight down. So and then you got the last 2 days rejecting this area. Today seems to, you know, came into this area heavily, but it seems to be pulling back. So we'll see how today closes, and then yeah, I would just wait for these lower lows, lower highs, let price break this zone. If price breaks this zone, then you got your lower lows, your lower highs, and you know, price remains below this moving average on the 1 hour, then I think you're good to go to enter. And I do think you have this month, or this much of monthly range left. So if we check out the monthly high, the month high was 86, roughly 86.70. So yeah, pretty much right here. And then like I said, price moves about, this is 270 pips, which is what it moves. Well, it moves about 240 most likely. So we can actually move this up a little bit, because right now I have 270 marked out. So we'll do 84.50. So that's about 220. Do a little bit more. Oh, that was original. Okay, I was right the first time. So that's 250. That's fair. So this trade is pretty valid if we get our entry based on lower lows, lower highs, price breaking this area, retesting, and then obviously you would set your stop accordingly to make sure you cover all the wicks. And then, yeah, then you're good to go. And there's still some decent risk to reward here if that all sets up. And this is the monthly range, so totally reasonable for it to do this. It's only 250 pips, which it does on average. So I am expecting this to break this zone, and you know, trade setup happen for sure. I think it's totally reasonable. Might see it in a couple days. If today, especially if today closes below this zone, if it pulls back out, then probably tomorrow it'll break this area here, and then we'll look for an entry maybe on Wednesday. Could see happening. So I'll check back on this in a few days and keep you guys updated if I see anything change. So that is Euro Pound.